with MJ Albert Books, and this is my presentation on whether or not you should go wide or stay exclusive with Amazon with your books. And I'm naming it to Amazon or not to Amazon. First, a couple of statistics, and I found this pretty enlightening. Think about how many people in the US do you think buy at least one book a year? Now, I thought maybe 20%. I just didn't think there were that many readers out there. But as it turns out, 72% of adults in the US buy at least one book a year. Pretty amazing. Probably because the super readers out there are the ones that we notice buying a lot of books. But everybody, or at least 3/4 of the population, does buy books. Another fact is in the US last year, 750 million print books were sold. And to compare that, 191 million ebooks were sold last year. But that number rises year to year as we further on and people get used to the idea of reading a book on a tablet or their phone or a special device. Now, Amazon accounts for 50% of all printed book sales, but also 80% of all ebook sales in the US are done through Amazon. And you think about it, Amazon is very customer oriented. The site is very easy to use. I've purchased a lot of items from Amazon because it's super simple. I can go compare prices. I can find something I want. I can look at the description and see if it's really something that might be worth the price. It's just a great place to go shop, and you know it's going to show up within a day or two, right? The little Amazon trucks are running around everywhere. So where can you sell? You really have options of selling exclusively to Amazon. You can do Amazon plus other bookshops like Kobo, Apple, Google, or Nook, which is, of course, Barnes & Noble. And the other choice is just to avoid Amazon altogether and concentrate on other book markets, other booksellers, which a lot of authors do. Now, the pluses of being exclusive to Amazon, really the main one and the only reason I would be exclusive is because of Kindle Unlimited. The Kindle, and they call it something else for authors on the author side, but Kindle Unlimited is basically you sign up and you can read any book that is part of the program. Doesn't cost you extra. You pay a fee, or it's part of your Prime, account, and you can have a number of books in there. I don't recall just how many, but you can have several books at one time to read. And when you want a new one, you just take one out of your Kindle Unlimited, add another one. This also gives you access in Kindle Unlimited to two different programs. There's one is a countdown deal where you set a certain number of days and there'll be a countdown that's added to your book sales page saying it's on sale for such and such a price for so many days, so get in on it now kind of thing. Buy it while it's discounted. And that's a good way to drop the price of your book to 99 cents if you can. And, do some heavy advertising, get some new readers. Also, with Kindle Unlimited, you get 5 days out of the 90-day period, the sign-up period, in which you can set your book to free, that you don't charge for it. And you can do that for 5 days in a row. You can break it up, like I usually do a couple of days here, 3 days, and another time. And then it gets advertised on Amazon as this book is free for now for a certain number of time, and you can do advertising yourself. Also, one of the pluses with Amazon is, of course, that they are so huge. They're the gorilla in the industry, and there's just a huge, large amount of customers that purchase from Amazon. So you're tapping into that customer base when you publish with them. Also, the interface to publish your book really isn't too hard to use. Once you've done it a couple of times, it's really kind of easy. And it's not hard to get help. If you need help, especially with like the paperback, you might need help coming up with the paperback cover. But they pretty much walk you through it. They have some pretty good help episodes to show you what to do and how to use it. And also, if you are direct, obviously, you're not spending a lot of time with each and every bookseller setting your book up and having to price it and go through all of that rigmarole every time. You just leave it on Amazon and you're going to sell it there. Now, the negatives, I think for me, the biggest one is if you are exclusive to Amazon, you're tying your book sales to one vendor, and that's going to be a problem if like your account gets suspended. Not to say that it would, but it could happen. Amazon has made mistakes with me. They suspended one of my books because they thought I had recreated a Vella story, which goes against the rules for Vella. If you know what that is, it's you sell your book an episode at a time. And if you're publishing on Vella, you can't offer that story anywhere else. It has to be strictly Vella until you're finished with it, and then you got to wait 30 days, and then you can publish it elsewhere. So I had my second book actually publishing on Vella, while my first book, after 30 days, I published it in Kindle. And for some reason, the customer service folks thought I was trying to publish that second book. I don't know why. We went back and forth for, oh gosh, must have been close to a week before I finally convinced them that this book they're saying hadn't passed the 30 days had been, already on Vella for 30 days, and they let me sell it. But anyway, that can happen, and if you got all your eggs in one basket, you're relying that Amazon is not going to screw up and just totally turn off all your sales. So it's really something to consider. Now, also, some book readers just simply refuse to shop Amazon for whatever reason, and I'm not going to go into them, but I'm sure you know them or have heard them. So there's a market out there that you're not going to reach if your book is exclusive to Amazon. Of course, the flip side of that is if you're selling in other venues, then there are readers who are strictly Kindle United that are not going to see your book, because they don't get their books anywhere else but that platform. One of the other things, which if you have multiple books for sale, you might want to set one of them to free just to get somebody interested in like your series. Set the first book for free. A lot of very successful authors do this and recommend it. So with Amazon, the lowest you can go, depending on the size of your book file, is 99 cents for the ebook. You can't go any lower than that. But if you are selling on other platforms, and other platforms do allow this, Apple, um, Barnes and Noble, they Kobo, you can set your book price to 0 with them, and they don't have an issue with it. And once you've done that, you can go back to Amazon and say, look, can you price match? And most of the time, they're going to say, okay, and they'll set your book price to 0 on Amazon. Excuse me. But of course, if you're exclusive to them, you're not going to be able to do that. Another reason is a lot of libraries and physical bookstores just don't purchase through Amazon. They go through other venues. So if you are exclusive, you're going to miss that market more than likely. It's going to be very tough to get into that market. And the last one is the fact that Amazon is very, very customer oriented. And if somebody returns one of your books, they're just going to give them a refund. So somebody could read your book, return it to Amazon, and you're out your royalties because Amazon doesn't want to do anything to upset their customers. Um, I have not had this issue yet, but I have heard of it from other authors. So it is something to consider. Now, other considerations might be that you can spend a lot of time setting up your books in other venues. And if you're still developing your audience, it might be a good idea just to stay with Amazon so you're not having to spend a lot of your time setting up books rather than writing them. There are aggregators available. I list 3 of them here: BookBaby, Draft2Digital, and Smashwords, that will do that for you. You set your book up once with them, and they will go out and distribute your book to all these other bookstores and charge you a part of your royalty for that. Although I think BookBaby charges a fee, if I remember right. It's something to look into, but I know Draft2Digital, which I use, charges me 10% of my royalty. So instead of 70%, I'm getting 60% of my ebook royalties when I set up with them. And one thing to consider also is that if you are exclusive to Amazon, you don't have to stay that way. You can always pull your book out of Kindle Unlimited at the end of the 90-day period and then go publish elsewhere. I would say that doing the opposite could be an issue. If you're published and selling your book in other venues, other bookstores, and you want to get into Kindle Unlimited, you're going to have to go pull your book off the shelf, so to speak, with all these other bookstores to make sure that Amazon is the only place you're selling your book before they'll allow you into Kindle Unlimited. Or you really want to do that, because if they find out that you're selling in other venues, they're going to have a real problem with you. So that's my presentation. It's kind of up to you what you really want to do. I would say generally for fiction authors who are writing series, it's a good idea to go with Kindle Unlimited, at least for a while. Build up some momentum, get some readers in front of your books. Doesn't pay a lot. I think the last I checked, you get $0.004 per page, so less than half a penny per page of your book. And if you got a 100-page book, that's what it's going to be, 40 cents, I think. Yeah. So, you're not going to make a lot of money with Kindle Unlimited, but hopefully you can build an audience, and then you can go wide. You can always make that decision to go wide. I hope that's been helpful. If you have any questions, give me a shout out. My website is mjalbertbooks.com, or you can email me at markahbw@yahoo.com. And I hope you have great success. And here's hoping I get to meet you in the next Wednesday chat.